Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another video. I'm back at my favorite park, and this video is going to be another one on concerning marriage, but it's really going to be about you know individuals who will be getting married, mainly the men, and of course the women will come up, but it's mainly about men and how sometimes mothers can really ruin their sons in different ways. Ruin of the son comes about in different ways. So I'm gonna try to find a seat because I want to sit down and talk about some of these things. I have a lot of experience with it because I have family members, unfortunately, who have ruined their sons, and you see the effects of that show up in their marriages and how they treat women, how they go about scouting or hunting women. And it could be a vicious cycle if the person doesn't get help. And it's sad to watch, actually. It's very, very sad to watch, to be honest. So, yeah. Let me try to, let me see where I can sit at. Seems like all the benches are kind of taken up. See anything? They had a lot of those canopies here. They took them down. Yeah, it was one right here, one right here. Yeah, they took them down. I guess, let me see, is that bench clear? No, somebody's sitting there, somebody's sitting there. I guess I'm gonna go sit on the step. Dang. I don't want to. I might just sit right here. Let's see if it's dusty. I should have brought a bag. I got a sweater on, so it's cool. Alright, kitties. They got their little car. This is a little hustle they got here. I think I'm gonna sit right here. Bismillah. Ooh. I'm gonna sit right here. Just scoop everything. Sit right here. Well, I mean, I actually should go sit on those steps. Yeah, this kind of low. I'm gonna go sit on the steps. Dang, I should come out here and skate when ain't nobody out here. It's a real smooth surface. The kids out here with their scooters and stuff. Let me get some light. I don't want to have y'all in the dark. It's pitch black. Oh, here's a canopy. Yeah, I don't want to sit over there. No, never mind. I was talking about the canopy. I don't know if y'all can see it. Probably not. Let me see. Can you zoom in? Yeah, that's a canopy. They had a lot of them. So I'm going to sit right here. It's dusty, but I got a sweater on, so it'll blend in, hopefully. Okay, found a spot that's not too dusty. All right, okay. We're going to chill right here. All right. Yeah, so, like I was saying in the other video, the women, both men and women, when you choose a spouse, it's very important who you choose, you know? The Sahaba, they used to say, you know, to choose a good spouse. The man who chooses a bad spouse for his child, he's did an injustice to the child. For lineage, as far as like bloodline, and as far as upbringing. You choose a bad woman, she's not going to, or a stupid woman, she's not going to raise your children. She's not going to be able to raise your children. And then the problems that you have in the house, the child's going to witness that. And then on top of that, the child inherits the genes. They're connected to her bloodline and whatever is wrong with her family. So people have to be careful. The women, be careful. And the brothers, of course, be careful. That's why it doesn't pay to just marry for beauty. You need to really look into the affair. Also, I wanted to bring up the different phases of raising a child. Like Ali ibn Abi Talib, radiallahu anhu, he said to you play with the child for 7, teach them for 7 years, and walk with them for 7 years. Right? Y'all better not hit me with that ball. Watch it. Don't hit me with the ball, y'all. Please, watch it. If you don't cultivate that child between the ages of 8 and 14, you lost them. Whatever they developed in that time period, whatever they soaked up that didn't come from your household, and you didn't put in the effort to cultivate them Islamically, you didn't know what's in their minds, you didn't talk to them. Whoever they become by the age of 14 is who they are. And anyone who remembers being a teenager, you know how your mind changes when you're about 14. How it starts to change around 12, 13, 14 years old. 15 is definitely solidified. But 14 years old is when you are who you are. And most people peak at the age of 14. That's it. They don't grow past that, unfortunately, if they weren't properly cultivated. They're stuck in their teenage ways. It relates to their brain and development, how they communicate and how they function with other people. They're stuck. I see it all the time with adults. It's like, okay, you did not mature in these areas. You didn't mature. Just because people out here and they can work and they handle their business on the surface, when you get to know them, they did not peak past their teenage years as relates to handling problems and their minds expanding and developing. It just didn't happen. If you're not intentional on self-development, just experiences alone does not develop you unless you were seeking to learn. If you're not a person who learns lessons through your trials and tribulations, your mind is not going to develop. You're just going to you're just experiencing things. So an abundance of experiences through time and you getting older does not necessarily mean that you have matured. No, you're just going through the motions. So that's so important. Being intentional about self-development is important. Digging deep and analyzing your behavior and how you perform with others. If you keep repeating the same things or you keep getting the same results with people, it's due to you not developing past the age of 14. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That's it. Your teenage years is when you peaked. That's it. Maturity is out the window. Past that phase. That's just reality. Being emotionally aware, self-aware, emotionally intelligent, knowing why you feel what you feel, listening to others, critique you in a manner where as though they're telling you, like, listen, you have a habit of doing A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You should listen. If it's not coming from a place of malice, don't be in denial. It's not your fault what your parents did to you or how they neglected you or what happened to you and how you turned out. That's not your fault, but it is your fault if you remain that way. That is your fault. And a lot of people don't realize that they miss out on a lot of relationship opportunities because they refuse to self-develop. They refuse to take themselves into account. They refuse. They want to come in a relationship with a person who they believe is ideal and behave the way that they want to behave. And you take me as I am. No, I'm sorry, it don't work like that. It don't work like that. But I blame the parents. The parents, those of you who have children, the women especially, it's your fault. It's your fault for ruining your sons. Okay? And I'm going to tell you how women ruin their sons. I'm going to tell you how. Like I said, I have family members who the sons are ruined. and I mean close family members, where they try to put you in the middle and they try to get you to talk to their wives and they set you up and all sorts of stuff. You watch them try to chase their mothers through these women. You talk to them and you're like, you can't do that. That's not correct. And they listen to you, they hear you, but they just can't stop because the damage is done, unfortunately. And if they don't intentionally fix themselves and get therapy, like consistently go to therapy and hold yourself to account and fight the evils within yourself, you'll never change. You'll be 40-something years old still doing the same thing. These behaviors and patterns are created, they start them in their 20s, probably before that. And usually in the teenage years, it's not that serious. Nobody is really serious as a teenager, when you go through puppy love and things like that. But in your 20s, you get married, you see the problem start. And then if they don't learn a lesson, the men don't learn a lesson, they lose the first woman, then they move on to the next, do the same method. But they get actually more crafty with their behavior. And then they move on to another one. It's like you don't see the pattern that I think at that point they don't even care. They're not even blaming the women. They don't even care. They accept the fact that they're a mess. They don't care. They really don't even care. They just keep it moving. I'm not thinking. I just, some of them are out for revenge. But let's talk about some of those ill effects. Of course, I mentioned some of them. And that it's real important to seek therapy. It's real important to seek therapy. Or, of course, we have the religion, so you ask Allah to guide you and show you what your flaws are and lead you to information and people that could help you see what's wrong with you if you really want to change. Whether that's a male or female, sisters and brothers, both. But something, like I said, with dealing with these marital issues and just being around the Muslims my entire life, you see whose habits are what. And let's start with women who, let's say from my culture, in our community, where you have sisters that are in and out of marriages, your sons see that. You got divorced from his father, and then you bring in one man after another on top of your children. And he sees that. He sees the problems that you go through. And you neglect him. You don't give him the nurturing that he needs. And he internalizes your neglect and your multiple marriages, and then he grows up, he has resentment for you, and he's looking for your love and your attention and what you didn't give him and his wife. And then you come along and talk to your daughter-in-law or in-laws, because he's married multiple times, and, you tell them, oh, I don't know what's wrong with him. No accountability. That's your time to say, oh, yeah, that was my fault. Let me advise my son and try to get some help. And no, if there's no accountability, you can't even have real conversations with your son and admit, son, it's my fault. I was going through something. I was sick. I was weak. I was whatever, vulnerable. Whatever the case was, sis, you messed that boy up. You messed him up. It's either that or they stay single and they make their sons their husband's son, their son husband. That's what they call him, a son husband. That's not just in my culture. That's in many cultures, actually. I don't really want to call out too many ethnicities, excuse me. But yeah, there's another ethnicity where it's very common for them to make their sons like their husband. Because the husbands, this is a vicious cycle. The husbands don't pay attention to the wife. He doesn't give the wife much affection. So the wife pours all of her love out and all of her affection out on her son and makes her son very close to her. So she emotionally attaches herself to her son and vice versa. She leans on the son and vice versa. So when he gets older and gets married, his wife is also neglected. And then the cycle continues. So she needs affection from somebody. And the weird thing is, I don't know, like, do they know how a man is supposed to be affectionate with a woman? Because the affection between a husband and a wife and the affection between a son and a mother are totally different. So I think maybe they don't even know how it's supposed to be, or else they wouldn't do that. That's weird. And wives have complained and said they've seen their husbands literally just spend time on the couch with their mother, laying on her lap. He's a grown man. He's laying on her bosom. He's a grown man. She's playing in his hair. What the hell is that? That is sick. Everything he has to return, everything back to his mom. Oh, let me see what my mother says. Let me see. I had to check with my mother. You're a grown man, sir. What do you mean you have to check with your mother about this? What? Why are you checking back with your mother for everything? I'm your wife. I'm confused. What's happening? And then you have the women who, their sons, maybe perhaps she lost her husband. She decided she didn't want to get married again. And she neglects him. She goes and she lives her life and she's doing whatever. That boy should have been put in the care of other men, whether that were her brothers, they were her brothers, or some men, some type of program, anything where he can be cultivated and helped. I don't care. This also occurs amongst non-Muslims as well. This is basic understanding of psychology in children. They need, if you're a male child, he needs a male figure to help him be a man. A woman cannot help him be a man. She can, if you're Muslim and you're Salafi, you can teach your son the text. You can give him the tools and the descriptions of rujula, of manhood. Direct him towards that so that he's going to naturally incline towards that. He's going to seek out those men. Or she puts him around men if she has the ability to help reinforce what she's been teaching him from the religion. Because a woman can definitely raise a man. She can't teach him how to be a man, but she can teach him from the religion about manhood. And then it's upon him to go seek out those live examples of being a man to reinforce the knowledge that he has. So it's knowledge-based manhood, him practicing, and then his natural state, his natural disposition, and then the reinforcement, the actual hands-on practice of being a man. That can happen. He can do that. A woman can do that if she's grounded, if she has knowledge. She can aid and assist her son emotionally to be stable. She doesn't corrupt him emotionally and manipulate him like many women do, make the man emotional. That's another problem with women, coddling their sons or neglecting them. And the only time she interacts with him is when she wants to be emotional, so then he becomes emotional. That's a problem. That's a problem. Then you got those men who resent their mothers. They resent their mothers for the reasons like I just said. They resent their mothers, but they don't take out their resentment on their mothers, of course, because they can't. So every woman that they marry, he makes her suffer. He takes out all of his anger towards his mother out on his wife. Right? Or if the mother didn't show him discipline, he didn't develop any discipline throughout his life, he seeks out women who are more disciplined than him. He absolves himself of any obligation of establishing discipline. Depends on the woman. He looks for a woman who is more disciplined than him so that he can now come in and manage that discipline that she established, try to take over it as if he has established it, right? Make her think that he's the one that established it when it was her. So they're in a constant back and forth in this dance of power dynamic. Yeah, I'm the man, and I'm going to now hold you to hold you to the discipline and the rules that you've put in place. I've been in that situation. Let me tell y'all something. I'm not talking out of the side of my neck. I'm not speaking theories. These are real life situations. I do not speak on in detail about what I have not been through or have not been directly involved in witnessing through family members or through people who I have had to be involved with and helping them out. Please know that. Please know that. I've had a family member say, I want her to get strong in a religion so that I can lean on her. And then when he criticizes her until she gets it together or she tries, gives her vague examples. She doesn't really know what she's doing. She tries to establish something, some type of structure. And then he wants to come in and micromanage and tell her, yeah, you're supposed to be doing this and, that's not permissible and it's not. So, sister, sir, brother, you didn't even establish anything. How are you now trying to come in and dictate to me what I've established? That doesn't make any sense. You have problems, right? You have issues, but they don't realize that they're doing it. It's like you're weak. You're a weakling. Why are you trying to make your wife be strong in areas that you're not? You're supposed to be the leader. What's up? Because you don't want to be responsible. You don't want to be strong. You want to appear to be strong. You want to hide under her. Yeah, that has had I have been surrounded by that, and they don't listen. Unfortunately, they don't listen. They don't listen, and they just never get it together. Unfortunately, men, when you ruin your sons, men are egotistical anyway. That's something, the ego they have to fight. So if you ruin your boys, Allah Mustaan, you ruin them. They'll spend a whole lifetime messing up marriages and just not able to get it together because they're faced with so much in life. They can't really focus on fixing themselves. So when you ruin a boy, you ruin them. You ruin them for life most times. You do. You do. And they have to go through so many relationships and so much heartache, breaking women's hearts and harming them. For them, I can't even say they wake up. They may recognize, like, okay, yeah, I'm the problem, but basically I'm stuck like this, so I don't care. It's terrible. It's a terrible thing. And then you have those who, in the same scenario, they will go along with the discipline of their wives. They won't try to micromanage it. They will hide behind her discipline. He makes her solely responsible for the discipline. He follows her, listens to her, but he resents her. And then he does sneaky stuff on the side. For example, what I mean by sneaky things, he's constantly getting married on the side. He's constantly chasing women on the side. Why? Because he's rebellious by nature, never developed discipline, but he gravitated to this wife because she is a disciplinarian. She's strict, so she keeps him in check, at least the image. But himself, he goes and he marries women who don't have that much discipline, and he can abuse them or take out his frustration from his first wife, disciplining him or living in discipline, out on the wife who is nicer. But this all it's all on the man. Like he wants discipline, but he knows that he needs it. So the wife that establishes discipline for him is someone who is important in his life, because outside of her, he would be all over the place. He would. So he needs her as a foundation of discipline for face value, to save face. But he's playing on the side. I know several people who are serial polygamists. They get married on the side like crazy, and their wives don't know. They are players. They never got themselves together. They don't care about getting married and divorced. As soon as the wife finds out, he divorces the second or the third or the fourth, however many. He tries his best to make sure she doesn't find out, though. It's resentful. Therapy would help a lot with that. But that woman reminds him of his mother. I know a brother who married his sister because she looked like his mother. SubhanAllah, she looked like his mother. He saw her at the sit down and was like, because he loved his mom a lot. His mom passed away at a certain age or whatever, probably when he was a teenager. Hello, Habibti. Yeah, so it's crazy out here. That's all I'm gonna say. It's crazy, and you have to be careful, sisters. Be careful. Get yourself some therapy. Address your issues. Do not push things under the rug. Address your issues. Don't ruin your boys, because you ruin them for women. You ruin them. And then you have, these are also in my family as well, individuals who they hold their wives, they see the women in their family to be the 100% standard. Not that those women said, yeah, we are the standard, this and that. No, they have high qualities, intelligent, and they can't get the kind of conversation or nurturing from women who are outside of their family, women who they seek to marry. So they therefore look for the women in their family in the spouses that they're choosing. And they insult them. And I'm like, that's wrong. You can't do that. You cannot try to hold your woman to the standard of the women in your family who helped raise you, you know, and who advise you. But that goes back to lack of discipline. It's like, okay, yeah, I wanted to, you know, y'all keep me in check, so I need a woman. Calling the woman stupid, oh, she's dumb. It's like, you can't call the woman dumb. What are you talking about? She's not dumb. I talk to these women. They're not dumb. They're not stupid. They're intelligent. No, they're not us. That's all. And you have problems. You have problems. You can't make that woman responsible for you. You want her to be the women in your family. That's crazy. No, we're tired of talking to you. You want to keep it going. You want to put that into your marriage. That's crazy. Get yourself together. And then you got those who are the men who are extremely intelligent also. They see the intelligence in the women in their family. And they are like, they also, if they weren't raised well, they would have the condition of the one who's blaming the woman and comparing her and things like that. But these people, these individuals have high IQ. They are a fan of intelligence, and they can't marry a woman unless she's intelligent, period. He won't belittle her, but he has to marry someone who's intelligent, because I can't unsee the women in my family. I can't unsee them. So, of course, you give advice about that. No, again, you can't do that. Oh, I've had someone tell me, oh, yeah, my mother, you know, my mother cooked like this, and my mother did this, and she was able to do this with this child, or this, that, and the third. So I've been on the receiving end of that as well. I'm like, okay, well, that's your mother then. I'm not her. I'm sure sisters can relate to that. If you've been in a marriage like that, I'm sure you can. Some men are just egotistical like that. They weren't abused by the woman. They just hold their mother in high esteem. She's the standard, and then he'll abuse his wife and say, no, that's not how my mother did it. It's like, that's wrong. I'm glad that I recognize that in certain individuals and I advise them, no, you can't do that. Women are, because I've experienced it. I don't find that flattering. I've experienced it. So I'll tell this person, that's not correct. Every woman is different. Live with the woman in her crookedness or in her qualities that she has. Leave her alone. Do not bring up another woman. She's going to hate your mother. She's going to hate your sister. She's going to hate all of it. Oh, man, it's crazy. Men are something else. But that goes back to their personality type. Like I said, if he's egotistical by nature and you ruin him, that can go left. If he's egotistical by nature and you didn't ruin him, he needs some modification, he needs advice, and then he'll listen because he's intelligent, he's smart. Okay, yeah, you're right. That's not right. But if he's damaged, you can forget it. You can forget it. He's egotistical and he's going to be out for blood and revenge for these women because of what happened to him, because of his mother, his resentfulness towards his mother. So, sisters, be careful what you do with your sons. They are delicate. Every human being is. But men, they have to go out here in this world, and they're going to be someone's husband and someone's father. And if you ruin them, they will ruin the women that they're married to. They're going to stress her out. They're going to stress her out. And they're going to keep the cycle going because they're children. He's going to breed children, and the children will see this as well. Genes get passed down, and just a vicious cycle. Yeah, it's called mommy issues. Yeah, the ones who get damaged, they have mommy issues. So they seek out what they didn't get from their mothers in these women, or they seek to make women pay for what their mothers did to them. So it's mommy issues. They go both ways. So yeah, those are just some things that and they like women who are, some men, they like women who are unavailable, right? The minute a woman gives in to them, they're no longer interested. He wants to be on a constant chase. You play hard to get, he wants to keep going. The moment you give in and you give him what he claimed that he wants, then he wants to fall back. You're no longer important. It's weird. People need help. You need to go to therapy. Get yourself together. Get yourself together. These are issues that are talked about. Before I talk about them, I'm going to do a video about that too. How the Muslims, you need to start addressing your issues so that you don't give the kuffar leverage over you, whereas though the Muslims are looking towards them because they are talking about all of this stuff. The Muslims, not so much so. Now, I'm not going to lie. In Arabic, yes, they are. They are. In certain in educational settings, 100%. The therapists and psychologists, they are. MashaAllah, I listen to the Sharjah radio. Yes, MashaAllah, they talk about the psychology of the child. There's people here, MashaAllah, they study ilm al-nafs, the family unit. Ilm al-nafs is like the knowledge of self. Knowledge of the self. Of course, in light of Islam, they take their Islamic studies and things like that, and they incorporate it into their counseling work. Y'all need to start addressing this stuff. You have to start. You do. In light of the religion, in light of our problems, in light of what's going on, in light of what we are faced with, the layers of it. Gone are the days of staying in the house and just trying to block out the world. I'm sorry. Those days are gone. Because if you neglect your children and then you throw them out here in this world, you're going to be estranged from them. Why? Why are you going to be estranged from them? Because you'll be saying generic things like, oh yeah, Allah will take care of it, and just generic advice, and they're out here dealing with the impact of your neglect. And they're shouting into the void, trying to get your attention and talk to you, and you're lost because you didn't face life. You didn't live in the real world. You didn't address anything. You don't take accountability. So you are estranged from your children. They realize and they make note, oh, this person is unavailable. This person doesn't understand me. So they start to seek validation outside. They start to seek answers outside. And you will never have a relationship with your child by not being accountable, by not living in reality, by not addressing these things. They're not going away. They're in our faces. I've always made sure I talk about everything with my children. Nothing goes past me. The ulama, hafidhahum Allah, they have to be on the, be in tune with the amr al-waqi', the current affairs. Why? So that they can give fatwa accordingly. So that they can advise the people accordingly, according to what they're facing. Imagine if they were just ignorant, they didn't know what was going on. No, you have to be abreast. If that's the scholar, how much more so that everyday individual who's living this life, They living the life too. Of course, they have family members. They know what's going on. So likewise, everyday Muslims, you can't bury your head in the sand and act like things are not happening around you and just, oh yeah, we're just going to go to Quran class and just memorize and just stay away from, oh, we're going to go in the mountains and just stay away. Oh, it's time of fitna and this and that. No. Alaikum salam. You have to, كيفك؟ شو أخبارك؟ أقول كيفك؟ أنت بخير؟ Okay, alhamdulillah. طيب. Anyways, yeah, you had to go on to those days. Go on to those days. It's done. You gotta wake up and face these issues. And that's all I have to say, inshallah. Thank y'all for tuning in. Don't forget that Hijra Man Day sacrifice. And inshallah, we'll see you all in the next video. Ma salama.